Okay, everyone, let's go ahead and get this kicked off here today. We're very excited for today's Volie session. We have a lot of awesome things to go over with you all. We'd like to go over some of the things that we discussed prior quarter in January's Volie session, as well as to talk about some of the exciting things that are going to be coming out here soon and throughout, the rest of the quarter and beyond. So, I did want to give a quick update on a couple things that we spoke about in the prior Volley session. We had mentioned, amongst other things, the ROI report and goals would be coming out soon at the time. They are great news. Those projects are in QA testing right now and will be released, pretty soon. So we're excited about that. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Peter and Sam. Before I do, I want to remind everyone, please let us know if you have any questions or comments on anything that we're talking about today. We will, like always, take some time at the end to go through questions and talk about anything else you all want us to talk about here. So definitely put those questions in the Q&A here on Zoom, or you can reach out to me, jake@volley.com, though it's probably easier just put it in the Q&A on the Zoom. We'll get to those towards the end. So with that said, going to turn it over to Peter Sperry. Peter, take it away.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. We are actually on site here at one of our dealer groups. One of our commitments at Volley is that we do the best that we can to listen to our customers always. And so we've been spending some time here in Miami with one of our customers, getting a lot of feedback on current features, talking about our product roadmap, et cetera. So that's why the funny background, and that's why Sam and I are face-to-face together here. One of the things that we heard from you a long time ago is that the process of doing quality assurance and monitoring your agent's performance and monitoring your phone calls was tedious, took a lot of manpower, took a lot of time, was prone to errors, etc. And so the feature that we'll be talking about today is a product that we are a feature called Agent QI. Agent QI is a automated way for you to know what calls you need to listen to and grade. Future versions of it, Sam will talk about kind of our version 2, version 3 plan. But the Agent QI feature, we hope, will be an incredible time saver for you. The user interface we think is beautiful. We hope you agree. And it's just one of the many ways we hope to save you time, hope to save you money, frustration, et cetera, in your BDCs. So with that, Sam, it's all yours.
Yeah, so like Peter said, we're really excited to show you guys. Version 1 is Lides is going to walk through here in a second, and then we'll kind of go through kind of the future plans and enhancements that we're excited to share with you guys throughout the rest of the quarter and into quarter 3 as well.
Okay. Hopefully everyone can see my screen. Jake or Sam, can you guys, yes? Okay. Perfect. So
yeah, I have your screen. And just before we keep going, sorry to cut you off, Liza. I got an email from someone that the chat is disabled. Is the Q&A working on the bottom, or is that disabled as well as the chat? I want to make sure to get that figured out. Okay, yep, we got a bunch of tests coming in. Okay, so the Q&A works perfectly. Okay, so you definitely put questions that come up there. Okay, sorry, Liza, go ahead.
Now we know everybody's here, everybody's paying attention. That's good.
Yes.
This was a test.
Yeah. All right, so I've got up on my screen the scorecards part of the application. So this will be accessible under admin, where you go now to admin and you've got your searches for calls, for customers, messages, etc. There will be a new option in there called scorecards, and that's where you'll go to create new templates, which are like your rubrics, right, for whether or not the call was successful. And then this is also where the communications that trigger those templates will queue up. So the calls that you have set that you want to grade, all of those will pile up here. I'm going to give you lay of the land on the screen a little bit, and then we'll dig into one, and I'll show you what the scorecard actually looks like. When I land on the scorecards page, at the top of the screen, I have all of my to-do scorecards. So I can see at the top, I've got a couple of calls from Sam, one from Haley, blah, blah, blah. And the template that triggered this scorecard. So I have one template set up, and a call that Sam made triggered that template. So my job now is to go through Sam's calls, Haley's calls, etc., and fill out that rubric to determine whether or not they were successful. I can filter by date range, by store, by campaign, by specific user, etc. If I scroll all the way down to the bottom of my page, I can expand and I can look at the scorecards that I've previously completed. So all of the ones that I've already done are going to automatically sort to the bottom. Hopefully I'm keeping up with my scorecards, and my to-do list is, piling on top. So I'm going to open up this one from Sam. This is what the scorecards will look like. So on the left-hand side, sort of in the middle of my screen, is my template. So this is where I have set up all of the different metrics, all of the different things that I'm listening for on the call. And I will, play the recording so I can listen to Sam go through the call. As I'm listening, I'm going to grade him on whether or not he was successful on each criteria. If there's a certain criteria that doesn't really apply to this call that Sam did, I can skip it. By default, it'll be NA, so not applicable. If I skip it, that doesn't hurt Sam. It's just not counted toward his grading on this particular call. If, as I'm listening to Sam's call, I decide, hey, template 1 isn't really applicable here. I want to grade Sam under a different template. I can swap out templates. So think, right, you might have a specific template for sales calls versus service calls, or CSI calls versus, aged leads or recall campaigns. However you want to build out those rubrics, you can get as specific as you want. Once I'm done grading Sam's call, I'll click complete, and then he'll filter down to the bottom, and he'll get a grade. So he was 75% successful on that one. I'm going to flip over into templates really quick and kind of walk you through your options for creating those templates. There's, different types of questions that you can include. There's pass fail type questions, or there's a rating, right? 1 through 5. 5 would be successful. 1 would be not successful. And then there's different triggers that you can set up to designate, we call it, I guess, a criterion here. When that template should be queued up, when we should create a scorecard. So what type of call are we looking for? And you can set multiple criteria for the same template. So let's say for my template 1, I want to grade all of Sam's inbound calls. I could set up a criteria. I would pick Sam as the user. I would pick my inbound campaign calls. I would save that criteria. Versus if I want the same template and I want to queue up Liza's outbound appointment follow-up calls, I can then set a second criteria, pick Liza, pick her appointment follow-up campaign, whatever it is that I just said, and I can have both of those criteria trigger the same template. So when either of those things happen, I'm going to get a scorecard for Liza or Sam to grade their calls. Sam, anything obvious that I'm missing, I guess, on the scorecards or the templates that you wanted to cover?
No, I think you pretty much covered everything in this section.
Okay, I'm going to pull up the reporting section then. If anyone has questions on the scorecards, hopefully it's pretty self-explanatory, but post them in the QA, and we can answer those after the fact. But Sam, I'm going to let you talk about reports.
Yeah, so So really, our goal with the reports is to make it really obvious, where agents are doing really well and where agents are kind of struggling a little bit. You can see the results, broken down by the different templates. So you could see, for example, that, the agents seem to struggle with maybe a CSI template, or maybe they do really well on a retention service call or whatever it may be. So, our big idea with the reporting is to make it really obvious where any holes are so that you guys can help make the BDC more efficient and hopefully, use that to capitalize on more appointments.
Hey,
So,
Sam, could you be sure to speak up a little clearly? We just got a comment that you're a little quiet compared to Liza and I.
sure, no problem. So, is that better?
Yep.
Okay. Normally I have my headphones on, but because we're on site, sorry about that. So yeah, so our main goal with the reporting here is to make it really obvious, who's doing really well and who could be, who could improve in certain aspects of their phone calls, text messages, and emails. So, with this, reporting section here, we want to make it really easy to be able to see which templates agents are performing well on and which templates they're not. And not only that, also which questions in those templates they're maybe not doing so well at, so that you could target some training and help agents improve so that hopefully they can set more appointments. Long term, as we get into kind of version 2 and version 3, uh, you know, there's lots of things that we can add here to make it even more, uh, helpful. And then that's what our plan here is. So, and as far as, version 2 and version 3 goes, um, you know, uh, we've got lots of things that we're planning to do for it. So for version 2, and just to clarify the long term, we're working on this immediately. So it's actually not very long term. That was probably the wrong word, but for version 2 here, we're going to have this reporting dashboard. It's going to be exportable. It's going to be extremely useful where you can drill in and really find the calls and fine tune all of your agents. There's going to be alerts, corresponding with keyword analysis, so you guys can track which words are being said, in these calls, and have those certain triggers send alerts out so that you guys can know when things are happening and help train your agents and fine tune your phone calls. And kind of the next step of that is to bring in some sentiment analysis so that we can use that data as well as our own metadata to automatically grade these phone calls. So in short, we're committed to making this process seamless and extremely easy to QA all of your agents, such that you guys could have these calls QA'd in just a matter of minutes with really, really vibrant data and reporting so that you guys can, spend your time and energy improving the call center, in other ways. So, we're very excited about this and we're very committed to making this an integral part of your guys's BDCs here over the next couple months.
Yeah, we're very excited about this. Version 1 here, like Sam is saying, a lot of the folks that we're working with are already doing these scorings, listening to calls and grading the calls, and we wanted to put this into the application to be more seamless and easier for all of you. We have gotten a couple questions here come in, Sam, looking for more detail on what you mean by V2 and V3, if you want to get to that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go through them all. So there was a question: scorecards already graded. Is there a way to filter for score percentages? So this reporting dashboard that you guys are seeing is basically just an example of what it'll look like. Absolutely, in this reporting dashboard, you'll be able to filter, and it'll be very easy to find the calls that you're looking for. There's a couple ideas we have that we're already working on, such as the ability to tag these scorecards so that you guys can categorize them, almost have like a library of these calls in your back pocket that you can automatically find and file away so that when you need to reference them, it's really easy down the line. So absolutely, you'll be able to filter them and find calls in the past. And of course, aggregate them up so that you can see not only trends, but how they're doing, as of today as well. The next question is the score not being done automatically? Will we still need to listen and score? So version 1, the version that is releasing very soon here, is a manual replacement. We've got lots of BDCs that do this in Excel or do this in some external software. So this is an in-system approach where we automatically queue these to-dos, give you the recordings with the ability to, just completely streamline that process. So it's not automatically grading. It's a one-to-one replacement of kind of that one-off software or Excel use case that people are already doing. Version 2 and 3 are where we bring in that automation and make it, just super seamless, and where it'll happen basically an instant. If I finish a phone call, it ends. A minute later, we have the recording processed. We get the call analyzed for its, for its keywords and sentiments, use the metadata to automatically score, grade, and alert these calls. So absolutely. Will you be able to add notes to the scorecard as we're scoring a call? Yes, absolutely. And you'll also be able to tag the scorecards as well for that library filing system that I mentioned. Yes, if you have your own scorecard, you guys will be able to import your own templates. So this is just so you guys will all be able to customize your own templates. Our goal is to help you guys, get those set up, but also, if you guys, need any help with that, we can be a good, assistant there as well. But yes, absolutely, you can have your own custom scorecards as well. How many calls per agent will Volie be able to provide us a score? That's really up to you guys. So you guys can do every single phone call, or you guys can do it based on tiering, or, kind of like, for example, if an agent is just really been doing very well recently, and so maybe you lower their amount of calls that you want to grade for that particular month, whereas maybe a newer agent, while they ramp up, you want to grade all their calls. You guys can do it like that. You guys can also just grade it by the disposition or the direction or whatever it may be. So, it was Scott mentioned on the previous Volie session that there's a minor cost associated with the sentiment version of this. So, that's just, won't be anything substantial, but, something to keep in mind. Will there be an AI aspect to this update, or will it require manual work? We already, oh, and I do want to mention, we will include some of the kind of the final version for free as part of your guys's Volie subscriptions. So, some of this will already work in, but if you want to do, all calls, for example, then, there would be a minor, part of that as well. So, will there be an AI aspect to this update, or will it require manual work? So we've kind of already touched on this a little bit here and there, but yes, the final version, which we're committed to releasing here over the next couple months, will include sentiment analysis, keyword analysis, and we'll use our own metadata that we're sitting on top of to automatically grade these phone calls. And our goal is to you be able to use that data and this automatic scoring to be able to help you guys, figure out what helps you schedule appointments and, increase the profits of your BDC center. Let me just, a couple of these questions are kind of very similar. So let me just, yeah, will an agent be able to view their scorecard in Volie? Yes, we will be releasing a kind of a simplified peer review process in the communication center, where agents will be able to grade these calls. And so something of that capability will definitely exist in in that version 3 category down the line in the next couple months that I mentioned. Great question. Will the agents be able to see and review their own scorecards and keep track of their score? Yes, similar to the previous answer, but I guess to expand on that. So as part of that goals and ROI upcoming release that Jake mentioned at the beginning of the phone call, we'll be launching a reporting section in the communication center where agents will be able to see an appointment log of all the appointments that they've scheduled. They'll be able to see the shows and no-shows associated with that appointment log. There'll be a generalized reporting section where they can see their own reporting stats as well as their peers, so that they can see, how they're stacking up there. And then as well, finally, they'll be able to see their scorecards and where, kind of where they could improve. And, hopefully with the alerts and all the other things, that communication can happen in the BDC center to help assist those agents as well, whether it's via training or, other aspects, coaching, etc. Will you be able to export the calls and scorecards to be able to share them with a store manager? Absolutely. So, there's a couple things we're going to be doing here. So first and foremost, you'll be able to export to PDF the that reporting dashboard that Liza has brought up on the screen, and you'll also be able to export to CSV. Kind of that bottom table that's got all the scorecards and their results. So that will be part of that version 2. And that'll be coming out here very shortly. And then we also have the shared link functionality, and that's probably a good use of that functionality as well. And will future versions have full transcripts? Yes, they will. That'll be optional. If you enable the full transcripts, we'll be able to run them. We'll be able to display them. I mean, inside the. Liza, do you mind going to the scorecards back for a sec, please? So in the scorecards, you can see there is no transcription alert here. We don't have them enabled on this phone call, but if you guys were to enable transcriptions, you'd be able to see the whole transcription down below. And as you're listening to the recording, the line that's being said will be highlighted, so you guys can follow along if you did want to listen to the recording rather than just read the transcription. So absolutely, that will be an option for you guys as well. And I think, will the version be available without requesting access? So we'll be rolling this out, towards the end of May, if not a little bit sooner, and it will just be available for everyone. And then as we roll out kind of these future enhancements that I mentioned, vis-a-vis the keyword analysis, the sentiment analysis, etc., the automatic grading, we'll be sure to keep you guys informed so that you guys are always up to date on all the enhancements coming here. Like I said, we're very committed to making this an integral part of your guys' process so that we can help better coach and help the BDCs.
One thing I want to chime in, someone had asked about, recommendations for best methods for utilizing the scorecards, to track specific things. We've been brainstorming on that a lot as we've been testing, as we've been rolling out. So here's my canned line. Talk with your Volie dedicated account manager. Depending on what it is, you may already have something that you want to dig into. If you don't, we have some ideas for you. So either way, grab your Volie person, and we'll help you get those things set up. We'll help you get them implemented, and they can be edited anytime as you go. So we're here to help with that.
Awesome.
Thank you. And Jake, before we go, there's one final question that just came in that I think we should answer. Are manual emails going to be gradable? And you'll be able to see them in the stats. Yes, you'll be able to, if in that criterion setup that Liza mentioned, you can, you'll be able to set up a criterion for those manual emails and manual text messages, and they could also come in here to be scored. So you guys can actually do these templates on emails sent by agents as well, so that you guys can also help QA and coach on those emails being sent. Absolutely.
Awesome. There are a few more questions that keep coming in, and we'll be sure to take another break in a little bit to get to those. We have a few more pieces of functionality that we'll be releasing soon that Sam and Liza are going to detail for you all. Before we get to that, Peter, do you want to take a moment and kind of recap some of your thoughts with this rollout of this stuff?
Yeah, and you know, we're a young company. We're trying to get really good at product launches. Judging by the response and the questions, it's very clear that we maybe in the future need to do a better job of delineating functionality, et cetera. So just to kind of summarize, the version that Sam and Liza walked through today, that is live, we are betaing with 2 or 3 accounts. The reporting dashboard that Liza and Sam walked through with the graphs and the list at the bottom, that is still another active development and will be released later on in May. And with that, we will be including a small bucket of transcriptions. And this is what we're calling the, in quotes, the DIY version of Agent QI. It's not going to automate an incredible amount, other than it will put it all in one place for you to review, and you'll know what's done and what's not done. So your BDC managers or your lead agents or whoever that you currently have that are doing QA on calls, they will effectively be able to replicate their current process that they're doing outside of Volie within Volie in a clear place where it's all in one place for review. There will be exports that will be included as we launch this, but consider this kind of what we'll call the DIY version. Version 2 will add a little bit of automation. So we will be using AI to track what's going on the calls. We will be allowing you to set up keyword alerts. Maybe you want to be alerted if the agent uses profanity or inappropriate language. Maybe you want to be alerted if they didn't introduce themselves. We'll also have topic detection within version 2. Version 3 is going to be what we're calling, you know, the full-on sentiment analysis, where we will have AI attempt to grade the call all by itself. And maybe a BDM can just go in and review and make sure that the robot didn't get anything wrong. So I hope that clarifies things. One of the things that we'll commit to after this call is creating a document. Before we launch this, we will set a very clear document on what is included in each version, what you can expect for pricing implications, et cetera, and expect that in May.
Awesome. Let me just take a glance here. Anything else that we should get to on this before we move on? Yeah, we still have quite a few to get to, but we need to keep moving here. We will get to the rest of the questions that have come in at the end here. Sam and Liza, you guys want to talk about some campaign functionality?
Yeah, so as Jake mentioned a little bit ago, we've got a lot of other exciting things coming out in the month of May as well. We're very excited to announce that Campaign Inheritance will roll out in May. I guess that's, for all intents and purposes, that's what we've been kind of nicknamed our new campaign builder. So you guys have all probably seen our campaign wizard or campaign builder before. This is a new and improved campaign builder with lots of new functionality that should make it very easy and seamless to update your campaigns, you know, many at a time, which should be very time saving for you guys. In addition to that, we will be releasing major enhancements to all of the manager screens, such as the campaign attempt management, the priority management screen, and the agent visibility screen. All of those screens will be getting rolled up into kind of this kind of our new framework and into a new dashboard where it'll just be super easy to manage all those things together. And just like with the previous screen that I mentioned, the campaign builder, there's a lot of new functionality that we've added to those dashboards as well. So we're very, very excited for you guys all to get your hands on the new manager screens and the new campaign inheritance builder. And we're looking forward to getting your guys' feedback.
Awesome. Liza, is there anything you wanted to add on those? I know that you and your team have been pretty excited about campaign inheritance. And so any other comments you have on that topic?
I was gonna, if your account manager has suggested or told you, promised that they would throw a party the first time we get to roll out campaign inheritance and do the audit with your campaigns, I guess, you know, pull up your calendar and do a save the date with your account manager. So no, we're all very excited too. So nothing to add though, really.
Awesome. We did have a question come in. Will the new screens make it easier to know where I'm at in all of my campaigns?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we've got lots of enhancements coming. That should be one of them. We're very, very excited. And we think you guys are really going to enjoy these new screens. I guess just to kind of set expectation, just like Peter did previously, the campaign inheritance will be rolling out sometime in probably the middle of May-ish, and the manager screens will trickle in the rest of May. So, but yeah,
Awesome.
very excited.
Yeah, it'll be a great lift for the ease of use for setup and stuff. We're very excited about that. Sam, you want to tell everyone about campaign groups?
Absolutely, yeah. So then the next kind of thing that will be built on top of campaign inheritance is what we are calling campaign groups. And this is our kind of new and updated approach at multi-channel communication. Basically, you know, what it will allow us to do is it will allow us to make it seamless to have the save and dial next work across all the communication types so that agents can very easily take care of, you know, a really important text message that needs to be responded to, then so they can send an email, and then they can make that, that outbound call that they need to get done. All assuming, of course, that there's no inbound call that's holding, because those will always be of higher priority, including inbound transfers as well. So we're very excited about campaign groups. We think it's going to, drastically enhance the way that communication is communicated across all three channels in Volley, and we're very excited for you guys to use it.
Can you give an example of you're an agent and how does their workflow work with incorporating other communication types?
Yeah, so once this piece of functionality is done, from an agent's perspective, it'll be super simple. In today's world, if an agent wants to, send a text message outside of the normal workflow vis-a-vis follow-ups or ad hoc inside the customer's profile, if they want to go into the message screen or into vMessage, for example, and actually take care of these queued text messages, they have to leave the communication center's phone tab and go into a different section. In this new approach, they'll be able to disposition their phone call, click save and dial next, and it will just bring up that text message that is of higher priority than maybe, let's say, a particular outbound phone call. So right now, the priority management screen works in line with phone campaigns. And under this new process, the priority management screen will expand to all of the different communication types, and the save and get next will just make it super easy to pull up really who should be contacted next. So from an agent's perspective, they're not going to have to change screens anymore. They can just, rock and roll in the one tab and be much more efficient while doing it.
So essentially what you're saying is they're on a phone call, they're on an inbound call, they wrap up, they hit save and next, it'll queue up an outbound call. And then they do that outbound call, and then they hit save and next, it'll queue up a text message. And then they hit save and next again, and it queues up an email. Is that what you're getting at, Sam?
Exactly, yeah. And the text message could be that we got an inbound text message to send, that came in, that they're prompted to read it and then come up with a response and send it. It could be an outbound phone call like you guys, continue to do today. It could be an email similar to the SMS example. And it could also just be an inbound phone call. Those are always, the most important thing. And we want to make sure that those are always, easy to get to. So.
Awesome. Okay, the next anything else, Sam, that you and Liza have to share with us today?
I don't think so. I think we covered everything. Hope everyone's excited. We're very excited. We've got we're just very excited.
Awesome. Just a clarification question came in on the enhanced save and next. So if there's a text waiting to be responded to, it'll pull that up after a phone call for the agents right in one spot.
Exactly, yeah. So, instead of getting the next outbound phone call, if you've got a text message that's waiting a response, depending on all of your configurations and levers that you've got pulled, they would be prompted to take care of that right away. It would come up on the screen, they wouldn't have to transition, and they would take care of it. And additionally, with campaign groups, these customers will move through the campaigns a lot more purposefully, I guess you would say. So completing a phone call might also trigger an enrollment into a text message campaign, and also queue up that text message to go out as well. So there's a couple different layers that can happen here, but whether it's kind of a intentional enrollment into an SMS campaign, or I need to respond to this inbound text message, whatever it may be, an agent will be able to facilitate that from the save and get next.
Awesome. Liza, was there anything that you wanted to talk about with that new save and get next? And you can say no, I just wanted to give you a chance to give your take.
This is direct feedback, right? So initially, way back, I think when I first came on with Volie, calls kind of dominated everything, right? More and more our accounts are utilizing text. It's a great tool. We were just on the phone with someone yesterday. They have a smaller team, and the team cannot possibly get through calling every single customer that they want to touch every month. So we're leaning more heavily into SMS. It's just an easier way to touch more customers. So we're using text and email a lot more heavily, which is great. But people text back, people email back. And the idea with the save and get next with this updated functionality is that, rather than a rep having to kind of check for new text messages, bounce between screens, those incoming text messages, incoming emails that you owe a response on, they'll be served to a rep faster, which is how the customer expects to be replied to. I think we all find that, right? If you're texting with someone, they expect a quick response. So that's the idea behind this. I know we've talked about this with a lot of our accounts, so really direct feedback from you guys. And I think that this is something that your team will get the hang of. They've already touched all of these screens, so I think they'll get the hang of it really quickly. So I hope everybody's pumped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our goal is to help make agents much more efficient across all communication types in Volie. So we're very excited about that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get back to questions that have come in, and we will answer any questions on the topics that we've talked about today, as well as this is your chance to ask Sam, Peter, Liza, and myself any other questions you guys have with the time we have left. So let's go ahead. This one was back on the agent QI, and I believe the question was in regards to what Peter was talking about with the AI analyzing calls for sentiment and such. The question is, will this work for other languages other than English?
Yes.
Okay. Any elaboration?
We intend to launch full support with Spanish. There are other languages that we are going to build out support for, but the two primary languages that we know we can do a good job on are English and Spanish, with others to follow. And as we prepare the document, kind of our launch document for this, I'll just make sure to kind of list our roadmap for supported languages.
Could this, referring to the AI as well, could this potentially pick up background noise, let you know that a microphone is too much or whatnot?
Yes and no. A lot of what we do is in processing the call for transcription and analysis is we try to sift out a lot of background noise. So it's certainly something that we know and we detect while we're doing it. As far as giving you a report on it, that's not something that we've been asked for in our sort of our current feature set, but it's something we'll definitely put on the roadmap.
Awesome. Follow up on the Spanish. Will there be an option to have those translated to English?
Yes.
Okay. In regards to campaign inheritance, can you all speak further about how query params or run schedules will be copied over?
Yeah, so this is more how the new campaign builder works. We're very excited for you guys to see that. But essentially, you guys will configure a parent campaign, and those changes that you make to that parent campaign will cascade down to people that follow from it. So, for example, if I add a run schedule or modify a run schedule on campaign A, it will make the changes automatically via a background sync to all of the other campaigns that follow from it or inherit from it. So all of the tabs will work like this. So you guys will be able to easily, make changes across all of your campaigns with just a couple clicks. So, right now it's fairly cumbersome if you need to make a single change on, a handful of campaigns that in actuality are the same kind of campaign, but for different stores. And with this new campaign builder, you'll only have to make that change once, and it'll just cascade to all of the campaigns seamlessly in the background.
Question on the save and get and campaign types and campaign groups. They're asking, can we set up missed calls like this too? Some people hang up before you can get to the call. So the question is, can you take your people in your call back bucket and put them into a save and get next?
Yes. So right now, our save and get next already includes scheduled callbacks or scheduled communications. And when we roll out this new feature, it will also include missed calls being brought back in as well. Absolutely.
Okay. So we have a question here. With the AI version, will it provide a full transcript of the call as well?
Yes.
Peter, you do a great job of really elaborate answers.
It's just a simple, in this case, it is a simple, yes, you can fully transcribe calls. It transcribes both parties. You'll be able to select which language that you want to see the transcription in. The other thing that it will do is it will remove any silence or music or any background noise that's playing, any intro or outro music that you might hear on your existing recordings. Just depending on where that comes in the transcription, that will also be stripped. The transcriptions do come, there will be a limited number of transcriptions that are included with your base subscription price, and you can control the number of calls and the type of calls that get transcribed. And then any overages, we have not developed our full pricing packages for the transcriptions. That will also be included in our launch document as we finalize that in May.
Thank you. Will the agents have access to track their scores and performance?
Yes. Yes, they will. The other thing that we have gotten feedback from our couple of our beta accounts that are using this already is the ability to quickly email a call that has been graded to either one another or a manager or an agent. So the use case would be a BDM is reviewing the call, they grade it, et cetera. The agent does a phenomenal job, and they want to sort of high five that agent in front of their team. So they might use that scored call to do that. The other is maybe for HR purposes or other documentation. An agent really is sort of systemically doing a bad job handling phone calls, and we want to put something in their personnel file. So you'll be able to easily email your HR department some of these calls for introduction into their employee file in cases of a termination or whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
That was more than just yes.
No, it was perfect. Okay. Are we able, so this is relating to, I suppose, both, but the question came in about the manual scoring. Are we able to customize the templates? Sorry, they came in a little late. So do you want to walk through that form?
Yeah, for version 1, we are not including a template editor. We anticipate that that will be a very, very fast follower. It's easy for us to import these on the back end. So the example in the question was from call review. If there's a grading rubric or schema that you want to put in Volley, it's just reach out to your rep and they will get that imported so that you can use your customized templates. And then they can walk you through in the UI, it's currently called criteria. That will be changed to sampling, which is kind of the industry vernacular around it. But you will be able to control the level and degree and which calls get sampled by which agent, number per agent. And in the future, we'll be also introducing AI so that AI can start to prompt you to maybe sample this agent a little bit more heavily, or maybe you don't need, maybe this agent just knocks it out of the park every single time and you need to sample fewer calls for them. So that will also be part of future versions so that you can sort of get your level of calls that you're manually interacting with down to the bare minimum level.
Okay. Question about filtering. Sam, you talked a little bit about filtering the scores and building out those reports on the scorecards, I mean. Is it going to be where you can filter from lowest percentage to highest too? So you can view all of the low ones in one spot?
Yes, absolutely. The reporting dashboard that Liza had up was just kind of a mock or a demo. The final version will have lots of functionality related to filtering and visualization and things like that.
Okay. In regards to campaign grouping, is it possible that you have outbound and inbound campaigns under one organization and each pull data from the same data set?
Olivia, could you elaborate on that a little bit? I'm not sure that I understand the question.
Okay, fair.
I'm going to say yes, but I also would love a little more clarification, but I'm going to say yes.
Sounds good. Okay. Okay, so unrelated to what we've talked about here, I know I'm getting good data from exporting and sifting through the existing data we have. What do we have in the pipe for improvements for exporting and current reporting for improved ease of assessing an agent's activity for the day?
Sure. So in the communication center, and this will be available to managers as well. You'll be able to see results with a date range where you guys can narrow down to whatever you're looking for, and that results will include, the kind of the basic call stats that email and SMS stats that you're looking for.
Okay. Do you guys see Olivia's elaboration there?
So you need one single data set. So it says, yes, for example, you need one single data set for several different campaigns within one organization. So I think if I'm understanding your question, this is essentially what Campaign Groups does. So you can enroll a customer into campaign A that meet a certain criteria. And then based on the cadence of the outcome of the communication in campaign A, they could be automatically enrolled into campaign B, C, or D, depending on your line charts and where they're supposed to go. So with this campaign group functionality, it should be much simpler and trackable to understand how a customer got from A to Z. This customer, in order to get this appointment, which turned into this service, this customer, we called them 6 times, sent 8 emails, and texted them 4 times. And with campaign groups, it should be very easy to see where all those stem from and when and why those communications went out when they did.
Yeah, if you think about in today's world in Volley, a campaign really describes a subset of customers that are the same. So they either bought a car yesterday, they serviced their car a month ago, they have an appointment tomorrow. What campaign groups will allow you to do is set up a series of chained communications at intervals, similar to how you would think about it in the real world. For instance, if you own a Honda store and you want to have a specific set of communications occur over a customer's ownership life cycle for a customer that bought a new Honda from you, you might have a phone call on day 1 after the sale, an email on day 5, another email on day 7, another phone call on day 30. Well, in the campaigns world, you have one campaign for each of those touch points, and they're not particularly interactive. Whereas with campaign groups, you'll be able to chain those communications all together under the same concept. So new Honda follow-up, or customers who haven't serviced in 6 months or more. And you can chain those communications together so that you, 1, can control enrollment at each stage, and then 2, that you can report on them in each stage. So how many of my new car customers are coming back to buy their next vehicle from me? And you'll be able to see those stats at the campaign group level versus each individual campaign that might be isolated in today's reporting world.
Okay, so a question about, obviously you have the new tiers that will, like you've said, Peter, require some additional pricing definitions by us, but the initial version with that'll be available soon. Will that be available just blanket to all accounts, or do they need to reach out to their rep to get it turned on?
A little bit of both. You'll need to reach out to your rep to set up the template, but the DIY version of Agent QI will be included for every Volley customer. And we hope that it is a very useful tool for everybody. And you can, in the future, you can kind of opt into what level of AI and transcription, et cetera, that you want to include as part of it. But if all you wanted to do was to make it very easy for your QA people or BDMs or whoever you have currently reviewing the calls, if all you wanted to do is just make their lives a lot easier, the DIY version would work perfectly for you. There's no additional charge. All you need to do is send your rep, your Volley rep, the template or the scoring rubric that you want to use and which calls you want them to do it with. And that's all included and no additional charges, et cetera.
Awesome. And we keep saying soon. What does soon mean?
We are rolling this out. We have several accounts that are in beta right now. We are no longer soliciting beta accounts, just to head that one off. We will be rolling this out by the end of May. We hope to be the earlier part of May, but by the end of May for sure.
Awesome. Are we able to set up those parameters ourselves with the DIY version?
You can control the sampling vis-a-vis what calls get sent into the bucket to be reviewed, but the templates itself, maybe you have a 5-question rating scheme that you rate your agents. Maybe you have a 50-question thing that you want to evaluate every call on. That you do have to go through your rep to do. In the near term, Q2, we will be allowing you to edit those on your own. But for version 1, just because we wanted to have a little bit more control over what kinds of things get rated, that will go through your rep. But just like all other things with Volley, we commit to doing it as fast as humanly practicable, and we'll get those turned around as quickly as we can.
Awesome. Just a couple more here. Our manual email is going to be in the stats on the scorecards right now. No tracking is on the manual emails sent out for emails.
Yes, we touched on this a little bit earlier. You'll be able to, when you set the sampling that Peter mentioned, you'll be able to specify for which communications. So, you know, the example that Liza demoed was for a phone call, but you guys will be able to sample manual emails sent and manual messages sent as well. And they can be graded and reviewed the same way phone calls are, with the exception, of course, that there's no call recording.
Okay, we have two final questions. One of them, oh, you guys are amazingly fast. Love it. Thanks. Oh, sorry, that one wasn't a question.
That was shameless.
Yeah.
There's one up here that all of us have been hot potato dodging because I'm not particularly sure I understand the volume aspect of it. So the question is, if we wanted a spot check based on call volume, what do you see as the method we should employ this tool as far as rating calls? I'll give you some descriptions of how we intend to set up the sampling and how we'll allow you to set the sample. Out of the gate, the sampling criterion are, well, I'm going to call them one-dimensional. You can sample all inbound calls. You can choose which campaign or campaigns that you want to sample for review. You can choose all outbound calls. You can choose just one or a subset of agents in your BDC. So right now, it's going to be fairly one-dimensional. With the introduction of AI, our intention is that we will start to automatically start to meter which calls get sampled, which agents get sampled, et cetera. I'm not sure if that scratches the itch of this question, but if it doesn't, if you could post maybe some clarifying remarks, or if you wanted to reach out to your rep and they can set up a call with either Sam or myself or both, and we can maybe get to the heart of it if that didn't answer your question.
Yeah, I think we need to be wrapping it up here for today. I think that's kind of the heart of it, though. You know, we're obviously always here to help. Reach out to your rep if you have any individual questions or you know, want to talk more about some of the stuff. We're very excited to get some of these things in your hands. You know, particularly, you know, campaign inheritance and agent QI. These have been things that we've been talking about internally for quite a while, and it'll be good to get them in your guys' hands. So with that said, thank you all so much for taking the time to join us today. We really appreciate and do not take for granted the time you guys give. Oh, yeah, thank you guys for the time today, and we hope you all have a fantastic day.
Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, guys, and have a great day.